1981, Ronald Reagan puts Anne Gorsuch in charge of the EPA. Now, Anne seems to not like environmental regulations a whole lot because she tries to repeal them. So much so that environmental groups have to step in and use Chevron deference to stop her. Now, the Chevron law means whenever in court a law is unclear, that the judge needs to defer to an expert, an agency in the field. And that makes sense, right? A judge knows law. A judge doesn't know whether it's safe to use pesticides or what kind of pesticides are safe to be used. So that gets in little Annie's way. Annie gets investigated by Congress and is found of hiding information about toxic waste, where toxic waste goes. She resigns in shame as she cries and runs away in shame, tears flowing her through her eyes, and Congress pointing and laughing at her. She swears to herself she will get her revenge if it's the last thing she does. And she runs and hides and plots for 40 years. A couple days ago, her son, Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch, was one of the deciding votes in a rule to repeal Chevron deference. Is that coincidence? It's not. It's an example of how serious Republicans are and how deep in a war we have been for the last 50 years without us really even knowing it. Trump and Ronald Reagan have a lot in common. When Reagan became president, over 60% of his policies were written in a book called The Mandate for Leadership. His cabinet were filled by picks like this, and the same in Trump's first term. In fact, does this book look familiar to you? Does that name even sound a little familiar to you? Mandate for Leadership? That's because it's on the cover of Project 2025, authored by the same folks that authored Reagan's policies, the Heritage Foundation. Neil Gorsuch, as well as plenty of the other Supreme Court justices, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Amy Coney Barrett, I believe Brett Kavanaugh as well, they were all mentored by the Federalist Society, which is funded by Charles Koch. Also funded the plaintiffs which brought this case to the Supreme Court in the first place, a small fishing business. So is that all coincidental? No, it is long-term strategy. The Federalist Society is headed by Leonard Leo, and he put 6 of the deciding voters into the Supreme Court. And this investment is paying dividends because it seems like no matter who's in Congress, no matter who's president, we are still a conservative country. We still interpret the Constitution by way of how Federalist Society teaches it, an originalist format. So while these people are focused on 40-year long-term strategies of warfare, we're debating what someone's demographic is on a college essay. God help us. And Gorsuch gets her revenge. What a world.